Gabrielle and Luca. We've been knowing each other since quite a lot of time because we come from the same small place in the middle of nothing in Tuscany, where we actually started to get into the, let's say, physical theatre work through a director that born and raised for a while in the same place where we come from, and then moved to Milan, and then moved to Cardiff. But actually, since she's originally from this place where we also come from, she's really attached to her roots, and so every time, especially over August, she does this summer school, which is like 2-week workshop of physical theatre with anyone like wants to join the experience. So it's not pretty much based on I don't know, performer or dancers, pretty open to anyone who wants to experience that. So Luke and I really joined the team very early age. I think our first experience together was like, I was 12, you were like 15 or something.
Yeah, because I was coming from a school where she was doing a workshop that was kind of like mandatory for the schools to do with her. So I joined during school basically, and then we met, and we did this summer intensive class together.
Yeah, and straight after, obviously, I mean, we grew up. He left. I left a bit later on after I finished my studying, and actually we lost each other because he's been around the world for a while, and I was studying still. So we then, I don't really remember exactly how, but
it was in Paris.
We were like in Paris after not seeing each other for I think
years,
3 or 4 years, and I don't know, we got a coffee and it's like, I don't know, after you develop a bit your background and your life goes wherever, and
you almost evolved, didn't you?
Exactly, like we really changed, and we went through all the things that kind of make ourselves the men we were back then. So we decided to very smoothly and very spontaneously to start to
explore together,
work,
exactly. And we changed a lot, of course, with the years, but we kind of felt this connection. It was the one that we had once we were doing like back in the days, this workshop where we were like teenagers in a way. There was still something there, like a way of developing language and a way of exploring.
It's almost like serendipitous, but then at the same time, like almost meant to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. It was surprising, but it made a lot of sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's like so much more natural for you to take different parts for a hot second, and then like come back and reconnect, because then that's where it feels more right.
Yeah, absolutely. And but then obviously like straight after, we could say that we've been fully worked together on since 3 years now, where we decided to try to mix and match all the backgrounds we gained throughout the years, because I personally did like artistic license, so focusing on sculpture, which is something I do reconnect a lot with my way to take pictures, for example, and also his background comes from a very mixed type of fields.
I actually studied product design in my uni, and then service design in my master's, but I lived in Paris for a bit, and during that experience I had the chance to explore in fashion, first as a backstage photographer for shows, but when I entered the fashion world, like in this show dimension, for me it was really kind of like moment of like realization that was something that was amazing to pursue, especially for the whole work that goes into a show and how complete it is as a 360 project in a way, because you have casting, you have sound, you have set design, you have a lot of different elements that usually are hard to be brought all together when you do campaign work, let's say like a photo shoot or a video. The fact that there's audience and it's live, it's a whole new dimension, a whole new level of experience, I think.
Yeah, and this is something that also we experience by performing in the in the course we've been doing this to do every year with the director we mentioned here earlier, because what's also then come pretty important to our work. It's the relationship between what we do and the audience. You know, either it's an interaction, either it's absolute no interaction.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always something we really kind of think about why we project or we design events as well as shows, or you know, obviously something that goes live in a way. So
it creates like an almost completely immersive experience for not
it's
only
a
yourselves and but the audience as well.
Exactly, because what we obviously throughout, you know, after the third project we did together, it was like, yeah, well, it worked. And
that also felt good in a way.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Despite the working or not working for
of course.
for a press or for for a client, let's say, it felt right, which is something very rare.
Especially when like following an artistic vision, you never really know like how it's going to go.
Exactly.
And that can also be kind of scary.
And it what then really mattered to us, I guess, was to see how people trust our vision and our way to work. Like, because we developed and we are still developing, because again, like, we are very young, both of us, and it's not, you know, lifetime we are doing this, so every time is pretty new to really understand how to adapt, as well as to make people trust the way we see things. And the way also we design things, you know. Also, yesterday was like 3 hours project, and the models were not absolutely stopping. So just to also, for example, make them feel good and capable to do this thing for 3 hours, it's something that, you know, for us is crucial in our work, because we are very human and we are really keen to create a connection that goes beyond the work of art or the piece of what we are doing. So
and also to kind of like have them feeling good about what they do and not force anything on a performer or a model. I think it's always our main.
Yeah, because the love for it translates then, doesn't it?
Exactly.
It's not only you trusting the process.
If they believe it, I believe it, you believe it.
Exactly.
If they don't believe what they're doing is right, I can see it. I can see it in the movement, I can see it in the expression. I think this is really something that we value. Always to make people comfortable and not force anything on them.
For sure. Can you tell us a little bit about your most recent collaboration with COTE and CIEL and how it aligns with your artistic vision and your philosophy?
Yeah, we were approached by COTE and CIEL, I think, last year.
Yeah,
it was already
back
last
in
year.
November. Back in November, I guess.
What we really valued about the way they approach us is that they didn't want anything else than what we do, which is very valuable.
And very rare.
So the complete trust was in your hands.
Absolutely. 100%. It was trust from day zero, which it's really, really beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's almost directly the opposite of what like most brands or briefs will come to you.
There was a depth in analyzing what we do. That was, I think, breathtaking for us. Like they knew, they looked at our work. They studied our work in a way, you know. So what they asked was very something in our, let's say, world, in our universe, and I think it all developed very, very well. Meaning that they really went on in believing what we were suggesting, and also, you know, during our calls and preparations, when we suggested something, and also on set, I have to say. There was this complete trust of like what we're doing is good, and I think this was a crucial point, because they when we first started talking about what we would do together was related to having a live performance, but then for a matter of timings and, you know, different reasons, we could not do it, so we decided to do this campaign together, and the campaign was called Vida. video, of course, and we worked with these performers in Milan. But then what we really loved about it was that they trusted the process and they loved the outcome, and they really wanted to go on with the live thing we were talking about at the very beginning, which felt very good because you could see that they really loved the work in a way.
And also everything then came to this, what we did yesterday, because they liked the way we work, like beside the output, but the way we make people work with us, the way we direct live people. And that was incredible to
Also to hear.
Exactly, and to to bring this quality we then understood to have into this space, into this event, into this mode, which was incredible. Like I was very touched because we were very, very touched, because I think that everybody could take great picture nowadays. Literally everybody.
Sure. It's like
so many great talents. But when a brand comes to you and asks to do what you do behind the result, that's crucial. Like that's beyond, because it's really the nature of things, and it's really what we kind of practice again. So that was great.
How do you maintain a balance between spontaneity and structure in your art, especially when working with brands like COTE?
Well, I think we are very structured in the way we work. We have quite a lot of points we really want to draw down and kind of give to people. We have visual codes, movement codes, but I think especially when we work together within non-performer people, it's beautiful to see the bug that happens when we give input that comes from another world. Like imagine, someone that is a pharmacist in real life and then come to our shoot because maybe we like the face or the attitude, whatever, and we ask this girl, this man, to act or to just even do a step. It's great to see how we are trying every time to put something that becomes from another world into someone else's world, and see this bug, like this gray area where you really perceive there's a bit of uncomfortableness, but in a very good way.
Yeah, in the most beautiful way possible.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a discovery, let's say. It's also self-like discovery and also self-like challenge. And I think the structure and the flexibility that you're talking about, structure and spontaneity. I think what we like to do is, and what we feel it's right to do, is never to forget who you have in front of you when you work with them. So having I have a structure, I have an idea, I have a framework in mind, but then in front of me there's you. Of course I cannot ignore you. I need to take you into account and develop around you the structure that we're talking about.
Yeah. The structure is the input we give, and the spontaneity is what happens when the input is given.
Yeah, when you put it into practice in like the real life event.
Yeah, I would say, like list of things, references is the structure. Then as soon as you give the reference or the input to the person you have in front, that's dialogue.
Yeah, because it's almost like their depiction of the brief in which you've given them, and if you'd have done it with two other people or two different people,
obviously, because everybody reacts differently.
And also sees different things in the things you show them. If I show you a reference, probably I'm gonna look at something, but maybe your eyes go to something else, and maybe that surprises us as well, because of course there's so many things that you almost get an input from them.
Yeah, you'll take back because you'll see their way of seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where were we? Can you elaborate on the relationships between form and function of COTE and CIEL bags and the human's body's movement as depicted in your campaign?
I think this is something we discussed also lately, but what is incredible from COTE CIEL as well as other brands connected to this type of, way to design things and way to create a brand out of it is that I think these designers and these brands, as soon as they see their product moving, they go in a plus level, because we think that these brands come from urban, from the streets. In street, you always move. So also because of practicity and functionality of a day type of routine, you go out in the morning at 9, you come back at 6 or 7, and this idea of creating product that are comfortable to the body and they are kind of helping the body to sit, run, change. It's something that also we thought and we put there as a title of the job, because pulling, stitching and folding is something that comes from the design process, but also can be translated into the way we work with the body.
Yeah, and life in general.
And life in general, because also
Pulls you, stitches you.
Like get on the tube,
Exactly. Because the idea, I think also the three verbs we decided to use were to create really a connection between the design and the work we were doing. Because of course we come from different backgrounds, but we are always very passionate about fashion, and we analyze fashion a lot, I think. So we like to look at what is the product that we have in front of us, and everything works in a different way. Textiles, ways of how the textile was produced.
Yeah.
So what was amazing also with COTE CIEL, I think, was the idea of there's always a functionality and a reasoning very deep behind the designs, I think, which, it's not like just a great bag to look at or like to wear, but there's also something more to it.
Yeah.
Which is very nice, because it's like it takes you a bit, like I think it takes them apart from other brands, which it's also a connection to what we try at least to achieve with the work we do, like there's that photo, but then something more about it, there's a bit of something behind it.
It's more layered. We think, we hope, our work is very layered. It's not just aesthetic or visually pleasing.
Because it's so much more than face value.
Exactly, because again, everybody could do great things, like visually talking, but then when we add a layer of meaning, of narrative, or at least a space, where someone that observes our work absolutely get into it, if she wants, it's a plus for us. And also, I think what's always pretty key in our work is to see how to involve the product or the clothes or the accessory we have in the way we see the body moves, and this is something that we're very keen, because again, we are not choreographer, we are not absolutely dancer, we are not anything specific, and we like this. So our work is always based and should always be based and find a way to balance this idea of having two work colliding and intersecting each other, because again, what happened yesterday, it's something that if you don't have the bags, everybody can do more, even in a better way, because they are great dancers and are way more experienced than us. But what we think our kind of click thing is when the bag becomes the reason why they move, and the reason why they interact each other.
It's not
so
like
this is
it's not like a band is like thinking about movement and then how do we have the bag in this? No, the idea is that the bag has always been there.
Yeah, for sure.
And the bag is you could see it as a burden, as a friend, as you know what I mean? Like it has different values, and it needs to be there. And it needs to be there from the very beginning. It needs to be there. It needs to be understood, analyzed, accepted, and
integrate in the body. Like Francesco, the gray suit one, was, you know, this amazing movement he developed of, you know, reverse the way he wore off and on the bag. Sam was fighting the bag. You know, that was crazy because, again, the object becomes the main thing in the movement. It's not movement and the bag, it's just the movement correspond to the bag.
It's the relationship between the two.
Exactly. And so these, I mean, especially when we worked and we've been working with COTE CIEL, that was our key thing, that every time we kind of try to integrate, you know, fashion inside the way we see movement, you know, and not just movement, you know, because again, we're no dancers.
So in this, what challenges did you face when integrating the philosophy of bags to wear, not to carry, into the
Exactly.
Okay,
I
that
mean,
was
that was
kind
that
of
was
the
it.
question.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, like it was a very great tagline to start with. You know, a kickoff that really kind of opened our eyes also into, because it was the first time we worked with a bag brand. You know, we did like ready to wear brands, or, you know, full look, but not specialized on accessories. So for us, it was great to see also how a very young brand as COTE CIEL is, or, I mean, not with a huge heritage behind, kind of has this very precise idea of, you know, making a product that has to be cared and worn. Also, these two words, like caring and wearing, it's already a choice.
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
so, like, it's already a direction.
Like you said before, it's
Yeah.
like embracing or fighting.
Exactly, you know.
How do you envision the audience interacting with your live art installation, and what kind of impact do you think it will have?
So,
Yeah, we were discussing
yeah,
this
yes.
a lot.
I mean, what we love about not only our work, it's not related to our work. I think in general to performances and to live pieces,
Yeah.
it's that you can't control the audience. You can't control the audience, and it would be wrong to do so. I think that's the like, and it's really interesting to see what comes from the audience. So yesterday, for example, we had the performers were having these performances that had small variations every time they did it again, and they had some improvised sections, and they were going on a loop, and they did the loop for 5 times in the whole evening, and the first 2 loops had an interaction with the audience that was completely different from the last 3 ones. But still, it was interesting to watch, because in the first loop, in the second loop, a lot of people were just standing here, complete silence, and looking at them, which we also didn't expect. Like, we were hoping maybe for it, but we weren't expecting that people, also because at the beginning there were quite a lot of people, everyone would just stop, sit, watch, and just like
it was very
be there.
theatrical, you know, the stage, the audience.
For sure.
And also what we like to do, what we do is to kind of like brief, like also give inputs to them during the performance. So if you were here at the first performance, you might have noticed that sometimes we would go there and be like, try to go in this direction, try to do this. Like,
Yeah, and you direct from...
Yeah, which is part of what we do, and something that we actually like to be kind of like a bit involved sometimes.
It's the way we direct things.
I thought it was amazing, honestly, when I was here with like the first showing, and the way you guys were directing. Was honestly
because
beautiful.
it's the way we work on set, so behind the scenes.
So we like to take that to live as well.
Alive.
It's also great for the performers, you know, because it stops them getting stagnant or stale, or like, and it helps them carry the emotion and understand and not get lost in it too much, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And what was impressive for us was that being this kind of dimension where there was like stage, audience, our interaction was much more performative as well, in a way, because we were really under the spotlight as well. So we were going closer to the stage and saying like, try to put it this way, try to have this, try to enhance this, engage the legs, blah blah blah. all we said was in the performance, very actively watched. The last 3 performances were much more, let's say, of course, people were going a bit more out, or people were just like chatting and exploring the space a bit more as well, also looking at the prints, looking at the video. But sometimes you could see these colliding things, like being in the same space and all kind of experiencing different things. There was, I remember one guy there and one girl there, who just sat there for the whole time and didn't move their eyes from the performance. And next to them, maybe people were chatting about their daily life, you know? And it's like, great. Like, you know what I mean? It's we don't want to force anything on audiences. It's actually interesting to see what audiences give back. How's the impression, you know, maybe people come in and like, I don't like this, and they leave fine, you know, it's a reaction anyway.
It's a reaction.
You cannot expect anything, you can hope for a reaction though.
Especially in such a long duration as 3 hours. You know?
Endurance performances like this are something that, of course, we enjoy watching as well. Probably we would have been the people there for 3 hours like this, not moving, that's it. It was amazing. Like, our work behind this was as a sort of like direction of the movement was related to basically creating almost a reaction in the audience. There was a sort of meditation process as well as they were actually doing, because performing for such long hours and brings you in a different. Then we were talking about this with the performers yesterday after the show. They were almost feeling like they were meditating, and almost felt like at one point their bodies were just like automatically doing stuff. They weren't. You lose Francesco, the performer that works with us also on other projects. He's from Italy as well. Said that at one point in the last ones, it felt like he abandoned a lot of structures in his head and just felt what he was doing, which was the kind of idea behind creating these slow-mo movements and like hypnotical things. And I talked to a guy that before leaving, because I saw him staying here the whole time. So when he left, I told him, hey, thank you very much for being here, for looking at it. And we're like, no man, I was hypnotized and I realized I've been here for 2 hours, I need to leave. I was like, yeah, go. But like, that was also an interesting, you know, feedback to have. We wanted to create this meditation-like state, and it happened.
And it worked
for someone, you know. So, but for someone else, maybe it's not. It's not a thing, and it's fine. It's totally fine. We accept the fact that it's not like.
We also liked it the way, you know, the performers live kind of changed throughout the time, because obviously also what we love to work with is the idea of timing and to see how a relationship, especially as they had, which is very inner, you know, they never look to the audience. They always, the POV is always inside them, inside their body, inside their home, let's say. And it was great to see how also the way to feel each other change from the time 1 to time 5, you know, and it was automatically the time, you know, they get tired, they get, you know, into it a bit more, they get, because I mean, we rehearsed just a day, the whole thing, you know, so they were not knowing each other before.
Actually, they met for the first time yesterday.
Amazing.
In the morning, and we rehearsed the whole day.
And then
a lot of that rehearsal goes back to what we were saying at the very beginning of not ignoring who they are and not ignoring what they bring to the table and how the different attitudes are. So we just wanted to make a space for them where it felt safe and great to kind of explore.
Perfect. Looking ahead, what are your future projects or collaborations, and how do you plan on continuing evolving your art form?
Oh, wow.
Spontaneity.
We just go with the flow.
We just go with the flow. I mean, obviously, like we really would love to keep going on this. Obviously, we think that our way to work, like, I mean, we feel ourselves are way more, you know, into it when we can do these things like live, we love doing images, campaign, editorials.
Of course, we also have our separate, let's say,
yeah,
works.
life.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we do something together,
like this is the way we would like to be perceived.
For sure.
In some way, somehow, it's the best space for us. That love performance, love everything we told you about, interaction, dialogue with the audience. This is what we really would love to keep on going with. And
we recently decided to, let's say, give a name to this artistic collaboration that has always been Luca, Notarfrancesco, and Gabrielle, Rosati doing stuff together. Fine, we love that as well, but we just wanted to kind of like have a space for it, which is not an agency, it's not like a studio, it's just
a duo
thing. It's called A Practice, which kind of like
brings
everything that we
leaves the
said.
book wide open, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
It's a practice about different stuff, and it's a lot about repeating. It's a lot about researching. It's a lot about gesture. It's a lot about different stuff that could
happen live.
could happen live, and mainly it's about life that then could lead to anything.
Yeah, obviously, like the way we thought. I mean, the reason why we thought to give a name to this, especially, is because we are really keen to kind of develop this live thing. This immersive journey where there are sound, images, live performance, audience, reactions, and we love the idea of having a space where everything goes together, because obviously in a bi-dimensional space or output as well as a video or a photo output, and our way to work, it's there but not fully, like especially the duo work we do. When it comes to live show, performance, events, then it's where we really bring everything together.
We wanted really to have a space for exploring the performance-based events.
Yeah, exactly.
Related to fashion mostly, because
it's our background.
It's our
way to
expertise
think,
in a way.
Yeah.
But we're hoping that this.
But we are open to everything. That's that.
Finally, what advice would you give to emerging artists who aspire to work at the intersection between art and fashion?
Well,
it's a pretty hard question because we feel like emerging artists. To be honest, we don't feel like we
are.
We are. Especially in this chapter, we have experience, of course, but we don't have the massive experience. So
but that's okay.
we feel totally being in discovery the whole time. I think it's something that always, we are pretty sure about some stuff. I think.
Yeah.
We like.
We know what we like.
We know what we like. We always rediscuss everything.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't think we ever get to a point where we would be like, we do this, and this, like that. That's it. Because it's really. So I don't know if we would give any advice to other emerging artists as us.
Yeah.
It's just passion
We
about
have a lot of
for us the main thing that we always repeat to ourselves, and that makes everything we do also quite emotional, because at the end of yesterday we were quite emotional, which is having a reason why.
Yeah.
Like if you have a reason why, everything
things.
is easier. Everything you can justify. Everything you do, but not because you need to justify to someone, but just because you have
to yourself.
You have an idea to yourself. Why did I do this?
Yeah.
I did it for this reason. Was it wrong? Was it right? I don't care. There was something
that was true to you
that moved us,
at the beginning.
So it was. That's I think.
I
the
think
thing that matters in a way.
Yeah. Every time we go back home, and after these things, we are overwhelmed. Literally, we are overwhelmed, and that feeling is the reason why next day we woke up and say, let's try to make this happen again. And I think this is the biggest advice.
Because I mean, as silly as it sounds, that's all about it. That's all about. I mean, especially when you do something like this that is very specific and dedicated to an art form, or like to different art forms colliding, or like to a reason why. It's something you feel very great about, you know,
For sure.
you feel great about what you did. It's like, you don't have the questioning too much, you don't have the, you're just like, that was
Yeah, you guys touched on it very briefly earlier, where you said believe in the project, believe in yourself, and then other people, like the audience or the artist, will, or, or the brands or whatever, will believe in you too. So like,
always really don't get anyone wrong. If this guy give you feedback, it's not expect, you know, because it's the way, it's the moment, it's the frame where you really think about. Because in the moment someone criticize you or say something that you might have not think about it, it's because you made him think or you create a reaction, and that's already something, you know. Everything that comes within an emotion or a reaction to what you produced, it's a thing to analyze and say, do I think about it? Do I matter? Is it right? Is it wrong? But at least you provoke something in the audience. And I think this is every time we work together, and it's something that we really think about it, and I think everybody should think about it, because again, everybody could do great visual things, but in the moment, I personally go somewhere to look something, and there's a meaning behind what I see. This clicks me immediately. Like if I feel something in the way, like, you know, beside the visual part. If I could stay watching this bottle for an hour, if there's a reason why, I don't mind if, you know, it's lighted like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. If there's, I don't know, if there's something that...
It's a lot about storytelling, I think, as well, you know, it's like if it's a story.
Yeah, if it's a message.
If I had something to grasp at in the end, like, maybe I would have done that different visually.
Yeah.
But I value it so much because it's telling me a lot.
I'm very picky visually,
No, but
it's better on this.
yeah, I'm a bit more flexible.
Yeah.
But no, I was talking about this with actually one of the guys that took pictures of the exhibition yesterday, the guy that came with me today, and it's really like there are different styles, you know, different visual identities, different visual codes. But if there's a quality to it, which doesn't mean like a quality of like high standard quality, I mean like a quality like behind, you know, there's something behind it.
Something powering it.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like you were saying, like a reason.
Yeah,
exactly. I accept it, I value it, I love it. Like I maybe I would have done it different, with a different lighting, with a different set, with blah blah blah, different. But if you are believable, you know, in the reasoning behind, I love it. I love it because it means that also for artists or creatives or, you know, you are putting yourself into it a bit more.
Exactly.
You are exposing yourself a bit more. You're risking it a bit more as well, because you are saying something that you want to say. So I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, that's very valuable. And always, like, maybe more basic stuff to say, but just really trust the people you have around. Because, like, Alberto, the guy you met, is the guy that designed the whole space. And this guy is incredible. Like, and he's a friend before to be a colleague. And if you see someone that really catches you and understands you and help you to develop stuff and also suggests you to do stuff, just really try to create a team around you that fully trust your vision and fully kind of develop your vision with you. Because there are many people that can fully trust your thing. Is if you trust in the first place. Because every time we start a project, we make sure that everybody we have around are people that really trust us and the way we work.
Because being friends, I think ties back to being friends before being colleagues. Because this is what happened with us. We value a lot this friendship thing. Doesn't mean that if a friend says like we should do it like this, and we don't believe it, we go, yes, no,
Yeah.
you know, we fight,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
argue,
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
You stand up for what
we,
exactly.
but I think if you find
Empathy, it's
yeah,
the
if you
base.
find people around you that they're like, I don't want to say necessarily friends. I mean, we are good friends, but like in the team that we brought here, but like that are ready to stand up for what they believe and for what you believe. Like because they want. I mean, they stand up for what they believe because they believe that what you're doing could be much better, much more valuable.